Good morning, Reaper Gang. Well, early morning, all those on the East Coast, and shout out to whatever time it is for all those on in the rest of the world. It's your man 3K the Boss. You already know what it is. Hey, by the way, I just wanted to apologize for not showing at 10 o'clock. I didn't get to my house till dumbass late. I work out in the evening. So like as soon as I leave work, I go to the gym. And fucking I got home, man. I passed straight out. But we here now. Hopefully I didn't let anybody down. But let's get into it. And before I start, I just wanted to send prayers out to, my good friend. But he tends to hold weight. He thinks he holds weight at least, and all of his guys at Premier Boxing Champions is under the belief that he holds a lot of weight. And I just wanted to send a very big shout out and a lot of heartfelt concern to our good buddy Caleb Sweet Lips Plant. Um, Shout out to everybody in the building. Jay, the prodigal son, he with the boy at 2 in the morning, man. I appreciate you being here. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. Ho! Shout out to Toby Bartlett. All it possible, can't sleep. Oh, that's all right, babe. You with the Reaper. You know what I'm saying? Let me entertain you for the evening. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tuck you right in, shawty. I'm going to tuck you right in real nice after this thing's over. So, yeah, man, a lot of things taking place in the boxing world. Very exciting week. Emotions, adrenaline, all of these things are running over. We had the premiere of the Caleb Sweet Cheeks Plant versus Canelo press conference, and things got one of my favorite rap groups, The Locks. Shout out to Yonkers. They would say that it got a little chippy, and it most certainly got a little chippy last night. And so I need to know. Does this thing really go down in November? Because I do believe that his pot got cracked and all types of aloe vera went pouring out that man's face. Look, man, one thing I know that you should always do is you should just let a giant sleep, let him rest in peace. Don't piss off the money. Don't upset the apple cart. Don't have Canelo ready to kill you months before we even get to the fight, because we know that there's a pattern with the aggravations of a Canelo Alvarez. We know Canelo moves like a smooth killer. Don't say too much, handles his business, makes a lot of money, and has been doing it for a very long time at the highest of levels, contrary to some of the things that we have issues with when it comes to Canelo. We can't, deny the fact that he is what he is. He is definitely one of boxing, if not boxing's number one pound-for-pound fighter, even though I think Bud Crawford's a little better. Canelo, Bud, 1A, 1B, however you want to put it, but considering he's the face of boxing, we're going to elevate that a little bit. You don't want to piss this guy off, man. Notorious with the body shots, very heavy thudding hooks. Body weight carries from 155 ghost divisions all the way up to 175. 5'9" little brolic, cinnamon head Wolverine type dude that will really go all the way off on you and has no problem with doing it. When we talk about fighters, we're supposed to talk about the guys that love fighting, the guys that love the activity, the guys that love consistently putting in the work. And one thing I can say about Canelo Alvarez is he loves the activity, he loves the fight game, he loves the four corners of honesty, and he loves putting in the work. What happened to Billy Joe Saunders? And you haven't fought opponents on the level of a Billy Joe Saunders. You got the size, you got the dimensions and all of that's good. But let's be serious here. You've been fighting the Mike Lees of the world. You've been fighting the Fagan Booties of the world. You've won your belt off of a Jose Utakagi who is 100% trash, who, people overexalted at the PBC because, of course, it's on your side of the street. But at the end of the day, when you're talking about a guy who has fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. when he was at the tender age of 21, 22, getting that type of experience in a win or a loss, well, I believe in most situations, if you want to be that elite fighter, you're going to face adversity. And we know all of the best fighters, they have suffered an L. Most of them, unless you want to, subtract Rocky, subtract Mayweather from that list. But most of the fighters have caught an L when it comes to matching up with elite competition. And, it either makes them or break them. We know Canelo only got better from when he fought Floyd Mayweather Jr. And from then on, all he has done is implement some of that smooth style in with, you know what I'm saying, and with his offensive prowess. Now, you know what I'm saying, he's very good with the head movement, very good, very, very consistent with the body work. I'm not saying that Caleb, look, man, if that's what you want to do, if that's what he wants to do, he can go ahead and do it. But I promise you this, at the end of that press conference, Canelo looked at that man and said, I'm going to show you that you are not on my level. He didn't say it in Spanish. He didn't. He ain't do that with the shit. He told you straight up in English, yo, he wants to hurt you. He wants to hurt you very bad. The guy is seeing red right now. He is hunting. You are straight prey. You know, look, man. Look, man. Caleb did a great job exposing boxing and the dirty secrets of his camp. Well, I wouldn't even necessarily say that, J.E., because those things are kind of what we already know. I do believe that they kind of expose themselves, and due to, you know, having, you know, business with clean boxing programs, some of these sanctioning bodies, do we only get to find out what is in these gentlemen's system. So him being exposed as a drug tree, I feel as though Caleb, you know, was living off of those things and trying to use them, sidebar, you know, to possibly think that he's going to take Canelo out of his game, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the point of bringing that up at this time is, because look, at the end of the day, you're engaging in a fight with this man. And if you already knew, or you felt as though the type of things that go on in his camp are not conducive with your well-being or the betterment of your career in the boxing ring, as far as putting sports enhancers, you know, medically induced sports enhancers in your body, then I would have to say, then why would you bark up that tree? Because for me, I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, okay, we could talk about it all day. We know it's there. We know the WBC has moved, you know, their position with clenbuterol as far as the levels, et cetera, when it comes to Canelo. They've made excuses for the meets in Mexico. All of that, I get it. I get it. But my thing is, how many years ago was that? Oscar Valdez and Canelo, those same camp, two different individuals. So you can't hold one man accountable for another man's decision-making, being caught right, wrong, or indifferent. That don't have nothing to do with him. So for you to do what you're doing, of course you should be confident as a fighter. I'm not saying that. But all I'm saying is, what are you gaining from that? You know what I'm saying? I just don't see what he's gaining for that. D-Town blasted with the super chat as always. Appreciate you, Brody. He said, shout out to the face of boxing's eyebrows. Shout out to the face of boxing's eyebrows. The eyebrows, though. Danielle Moreno, what's good with the bro? Lisa Bell, salute to the queen. We got the queens in the building. We got the bros in the building, man. We working, man. But I'm sorry, man. I just don't look. I think this is going to be a recipe for disaster for Caleb Plant. You guys already know how I felt about this situation. I already felt like his plant would get cracked, his pot would get cracked anyway. And now we looking at it, you know, Canelo just open hand slapped this dude, and this dude got a cut on his face. Now let's ask. Now, you know, I'm going to ask this question: do you guys think it was real? You know, yes, he did bleed, you know, but as I look at the replay, slow everything down and everything, them boys were slap boxing. Right or wrong? Sorry, guys, I'm up in this joint eating my daughter ice pops on the late night. You know, this shit keep me going. Right or wrong, though? Hold up, ho. Daniel, you saying he called his mom a fucker? See, I heard earlier that he said something about steroids. Now I'm hearing that he called his mom a fucker. Like, who does that? Like, What type of individual goes to a press conference, you standing in front of that man face to face, and you call his mom a motherfucker or whatever the case may be? And what world are we living in that we disrespect moms out here? I'm sorry, I abide by a certain code, and there are certain things that are off limits in my life. Disrespecting family, disrespecting, you know what I'm saying, any man's woman, disrespecting, you know, a woman that isn't warranted of the freaking disrespect isn't one of them. That is one of the last things on my list to do. And one thing we must do is we must respect all mothers out here. We got to respect everybody, mom out here, whether you know them or you don't know them. I do believe that, you know, when we raise, these are certain things that, you know, our parents give us from day one. I do believe it was written that you should honor thy mother and thy father as long as they shall live. That doesn't stop at just your mother. That begins with all mothers. So when you jumping out the window, you're doing that. Obviously, you are really being a piece of shit. Because I'm sure there are several talk points you could use, and I don't believe that Canelo's mom has anything to do with any one of them. Several talk points. But to disrespect the nigga mom, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing in boxing? And we all know I love it when they talk dirty, man. I love it when the boxing world talks dirty. I love it when they kick it a certain way. I love a certain level of alpha machismo. I absolutely do. But all I'm saying is, bro, moms, though, he's standing right in your face. But you got verbal smoke for his mom. Wow. All I can say is that dude walked up. Yo, did y'all pay attention to Caleb Plant coach? You could tell them dudes ain't been on the big stage before, and it's got them shitting bricks. If you look at the press conference closely, you know Caleb Plant coach, he's fucking reading from a prompt in the cell phone. He's reading from speeches that he wrote down. Not saying that nothing is wrong as that, but bro, you're on the biggest press conference in boxing this year, you know, and you're literally sitting in Beverly Hills in front of over thousands of people on multiple different live platforms, people in front of you, and millions of people around the world. They're watching you read from their cell phone while your hand is shaking, just shaking, look like you damn near hemorrhaging in your right hand. You just look crazy out there. They're not prepared for this level. You know, you're supposed to, you know, you gradually get to that level. But all I'm saying is this dude jumped from a Mike Lee, a Vincent Feigenboots, and now all of a sudden you're just, you know, you're fighting Canelo. You don't go from Caleb Truax to Canelo. I'm sorry. You know, I feel like, honestly, if Caleb Plant was smart, he would have been entertaining the other individuals that are at 168 pounds before he got there so he could get ready for this situation. You should have fought a David Benavidez because, fight fans, I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you. If he would have fought a David Benavidez before he fought Canelo, and he would have beat a David Benavidez, I'm pretty sure all of our opinions on what this fight possibly would be, or hypothetical opinions on what it could be, would probably be a little different, because he would have showed that he's got some level of dog in him. You can't go out there and just soft paw pat, you know, on flat tires, you know, pretty much beating on flat tires for your last 3 fights. A guy that's over the hill. No disrespect to Golden, because he was a former champion, but you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Who did he make his bones off of? So at the end of the day, I just feel like you in your position, you should be worried about the elite training aspect. You should be worried about focusing. And your last thing you should be worried about is disrespecting dude mama. Because I promise you, he's been there before, you haven't. And if you think this is the big stage already, what y'all did today, I'm sorry. When you got 20,000 roaring, you know what I mean, Mexican fans, probably 20,000 seats, probably 15 to 16,000 of them going to be Mexican fans, bro, it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe. And you ain't there. That's a fact. And I'm of that belief as well. Because, Daniel, I'm going to be honest. I've always said this. I said at 168 pounds, I feel like the only person that beats Canelo at 168 pounds or even has a chance is David Benavidez. And that's simply because of the dog in him. That's simply because of the dog in him, the relentless pressure going forward, the offensive attack, and the power behind the straight right hands, you know what I'm saying, the heavy jab, and the consistent body work. And, you know, he has and he definitely operates like he has an extreme high tolerance for pain in the ring, where he pretty much just walks through everything. I don't know. If you look in that dude's eyes, it's something different in the ring, yo. Like, I don't even like the way David Benavidez look at people. For real. I feel like he got a chainsaw tucked somewhere for real, with a face that's made up about 50 of his former victims' skins or whatever, and he throws that shit on in the middle of the night with a chef apron, you know, from a freaking meat cleaver shop, and he just goes to work with a chainsaw like this dude is Leatherface or some shit. Those are the type of looks that David Benavidez gives his opponents. Those are the type of looks that he gives on fight weeks. And when he smells blood, he is definitely one of the best finishers in boxing. No debate. You know, I just feel like there's a certain level of there's certain steps that you should climb. And Vincent Feigenboots, having a Mike Lee come down from 175 pounds to 168, who was only won an Air Force title or whatever, basically fighting in the fucking Air Force on some barge, and then he gets in the ring with you and you destroy him. But my thing is, when you're supposedly destroying these individuals, on his last outing against Caleb Trax, how did Caleb Plant look? Did he stop that guy? Did he? See, these are the individuals, the Mike Lees, the Farfig Nugans, the Caleb Traxes of the world. These are the individuals you should be stopping. When you went on your championship reign, you didn't even stop Jose. So all I'm saying is, you might want to watch your mouth, because you're writing a motherfucking check that I don't believe your ass can cash, and I don't believe that your body can take the type of damage or the type of punishment that this guy's going to give you. But, yo, when Canelo looked at that man and said, you ain't on this level, Slim, and I promise you I'm going to show you. Dog, that's real fighting words. I felt that shit, bro. Because that's the way I feel when I'm mad. Like, I'm gonna let you know, like, straight up. I'm like, yo, this ain't what you motherfucking asking for, and I promise you, nigga, I'm gonna break you. I promise you I'm gonna break you. You know what I'm saying? So basically, he on that mood. And for real, the training regimens now, oh my God. Oh my God. Yo, shout out to Canelo. Regardless, like I said, here on Reaper Gang Radio, you know, we've been very open and honest in interpretation. Lost several subscribers due to the fact that, you know, Canelo, my stance on Canelo and how I feel about Canelo. But at the end of the day, I'll never take anything away from a great fighter. All I'm saying is, the guy is so good that the Caleb Plants of the world, the Billy Joe Saunders of the world, the Avani Yildirims of the world, the Callum Smiths of the world, the Chunky Smiths of the world, the Over the Hill Sugar Shane Mosleys of the world, the now Hulk Hogan sagging skin, I ain't been in the offense since goddamn God knows how long, Triple G's of the world. These are the type of individuals that are not going to stop this dude. Even though I felt as though Triple G won the first fight, I'm speaking on the presently, and I'm speaking on the present situation. So what I'm saying is, even though Canelo has been in situations with Laura, Canelo has been in situations with Austin Trout, Canelo has been in, you know, those are situations that we do have the tendency to question. But you can't question his consistent level of opposition. You can't question his resume. You can't question his power. You can't question his skill set. The only thing that is up for question there is how fucking long Caleb Plant is going to make it through the fight. Is he going to go down in the first round, or is he going to go down in the sixth? You tell me. Those are the only things that we can question when it comes to Caleb Plant, and when dealing with an individual like Canelo. All I can say is, if you're a religious person, if you're Buddhist, if you study Confucianism, whatever isms that you study, all I'm saying is pray for him, grab your chakra beads or whatever, rub them joints, whatever you got to do, in good faith for, you know, the health and the well-being of Caleb Plant. Because all I'm saying is, the old saying is, down goes Frazier. Well, all I'm saying is, he getting this pot cracked. Aloe Vera sipping. It's different. He getting his ass whooped, man. That's a fact, Virtuoso. Salute. He's definitely getting beat up, bro. And like I said, man, people have a tendency to like making things hard on themselves. And he just made this shit that much harder. So hey man, shout out to you. If this is what you want, all you're doing is making it a much more sensational knockout at the end of the night for guys like you and I. And you know, and for the ladies in the building as well. All you're doing is giving us an entertaining night to watch you get stopped and then just watch you fade in oblivion. And you know what I'm saying? Your girl gonna be looking at you funny. Because I don't care what nobody say. You get your ass whooped, you know what I'm saying? Shorty gonna look at you funny. She gonna look at you real funny. And you're not there, bro. You're not there. And like I said, you would have need to go through, like, why didn't he fight Callum Smith? Why didn't he fight Billy Joe Saunders? Why didn't you fight David Benavidez? They are right there. Like I said, it would definitely make the conversation a little bit different. But I feel as though he needed to go through those type of things, those type of opponents, to be able to say that, hey, these different levels of adversity, you know, if he comes through those guys, because I feel like a Billy Joe Saunders versus Caleb Plant, a Billy Joe Saunders even after a beating up Canelo Alvarez, after Canelo beat him up, it still would be, you know, a learning fight for Caleb. Anything is better than what his resume has to offer. Anything. And the fact that you have nothing to offer on your lackluster resume and you're going in here with the top pound for pound fighter of the world, look, man, good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. So shout out to his funeral on November 6th. Does the fight get pushed back now that he got the aloe vera, he got his pot cracked and the aloe vera cut out his goddamn face? Does the fight get pushed back now? Because you know the type of you know what I'm saying, bitch assness and the type of activity, you know how the PBC get down. They'll probably try to push this thing back based off of that little abrasion on his face or whatever that they try to make an extremely huge deal about. I get it. It's the boxing world. You don't need to be cut before you go in there, but you don't need to be cutting up talking about people's mother to put yourself in a position where you get two sweet pussy lips cut in your face. I'm just saying. Then when you go out there, you throw the slap, you completely miss, made yourself look crazy. Elite head movement. And now you cut. But at the end of the day, it doesn't excuse Canelo's actions as a professional. But at the end of the day, somebody talks about your mom, and your mom is president. I do believe any alpha male is going to respond like an alpha male. There's just some things that men are not going to let you slide on. And there are just some things that I said are instilled in us since we are children that we're just not going to do. And mothers are completely off limits. And to say that, another ice pop. You know? Let me read some of these comments. Fight like an indestructible robot. He's got to be on something. Hold on. You said Caleb Plant fights like an indestructible robot? I don't see that, Wiz. I don't believe that. I think he fights like I think he fights like a typical fighter. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to take this away from him. One thing I can say about Caleb Plant, they don't call him sweet hands for no reason. He definitely does know how to put combinations together very well. I just don't think that they have any funk on the back of them. His combinations just don't have any funk on the back of them. And what I mean by funk is they just don't have any thud. They don't pack any power. There ain't no 12 gauge shotgun in the right hand or the left hand. I just feel like, you know, the combinations that he put together, Caleb Plant punches with so many beautiful barrages and combinations that he has to soften you up over time. But all I'm saying is when you're punching on guys who are, you know, at the lowest levels of the boxing world, you know, it's easy to look good. You feel me? Like, you know, it gets harder when you're talking about standing opposed to an opposing figure who knows how to fence 10 times better than you, who just has a much better pedigree. And at the end of the day, you know, the more poised fighter, the more calm fighter, the more in tune fighter is the fighter that's always going to win. I feel like Caleb ain't really in tune. I feel like, you know, he sat around a whole year and some change, you know what I'm saying, finger fucking and hella bluffing on the whole situation. And now that we here or whatever, he feels as though, you know, this is something that he's always wanted the entirety of his life. But I do believe Canelo was the one running around collecting all of those belts while you were fighting freaking spare flat tires. And all I'm saying is when you got a flat tire, bro, you need to change up. So when I'm talking about your flat tires of opponents, you need to change up to more elite opponents, not these regular, you know, fuddy-dud ass, bum ass, you know what I'm saying, weak dudes that you've been fighting, bro. That has always been my problem with Caleb Plant. And Bruce Vane was always very high on him. Shout out to Bruce. You know, Bruce did a video on him a while ago, and he was speaking on how Caleb Plant, you know, was top option, I believe, or one of the top options at 168 pounds. And he gives, I think Bruce did a video, correct me if I'm wrong, on giving Canelo problems or possibly being able to beat Canelo. And my thing was, and I think I stated in his comments or something, I think he even said it on his video, I said that I like Caleb Plant. I would like to see him fight more elite opposition. And I've never seen that. So even with, you know, the offensive abilities that he has, I feel like that shit hasn't made it off of his Tennessee block. What I mean by that is you haven't transcended your talent and took it around the world and put it in the face of other elite opponents so they can understand really what you're working with out here. So the pundits can really understand what you're working with out here. Because right now to us, you're just another individual that's going to get zipped up, put in the morgue. We have nothing really to go off of, because if we look at your toughest opponent, who is considerably Jose, that's where you won your IBF title at 168. We would have to say that Utakagi brings nothing to the table that even would remotely shake, rattle, or even, you know what I'm saying, beat anything that Canelo Alvarez would have to worry about. So if you're going 12 rounds like life or death with a Jose Utakagi, I'm just saying we have no reason other than to look at this situation but for what it is. And it's just a situation where, you know, you're going to get rolled on. You're going to get rolled on. And see, this is the problem with the inactivity. This is the problem with fighters not wanting to play ball. And while you sitting up there saying, I promise you, I'm going to show the world, I've been proving people wrong my entire life. Cool. I get that. You know, when you're in the boxing world, you ain't shit. You ain't really shit compared to certain names. And especially if you're on certain promotional outfit with those names. I get it. You know, but you're saying you're going to prove the world wrong. Bro, you're not going to, and fight fans, I'm sure you all agree with me here. He can say that till he's blue in the face in the press conference, but at the end of the day, you're not going to be proving any of us wrong by talking about it. Because we're not going to believe it until we get to see the entirety of what's going to play out. What I'm saying by that is we already believe he's going to smoke you. So you could talk about, you know what I'm saying, the adversity you're facing going up against Canelo. You can talk about saying you're going to prove the world wrong, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to show us, because you talking right now, you're not making nobody a believer. Because as the Age of Spin Volume 4 or Volume 5 that I've edited shows, Caleb Plant says a whole lot of things and he doesn't stand on it. David Benavidez is like the boogeyman in your closet and the monster underneath your bed that, you know what I'm saying, gives you goosebumps in the middle of the night. Because why didn't you make that fight? I do believe you said he was the best offensive fighter in the game right now, but you didn't give the best offensive fighter in the game an opportunity to get in the ring and fight you. And we know David Benavidez only lost his title to the scale. And I find that funny, considering that the WBC took away David Benavidez's title due to the scale. I believe the other time it was due to the fact that, you know, he was on cocaine. But Canelo, isn't David Benavidez of Mexican descent? Isn't David Benavidez Mexican American? You strip David Benavidez and let Canelo fight Callum Smith, sneaking us with the WBC thrown in there. David Benavidez gets stripped. But my thing is, Oscar Valdez still has his belt, and you roll for Canelo when Canelo got caught up in his clenbuterol situation. So all I'm saying is this: if it works if you're doing it for one, why not do it for the others? Because in my mind, I would have to feel some type of way if I'm David, knowing I'm going off a little off track here. It's just the way it rolled. I'm just saying, I would have to lend, you got to give the same leeway all across the board. That's why I'm saying shit get a little funny for me, but hey, it is what it is. In my mind, Caleb Plant was never the fight that should be against well, it should have been, because he would still be the IBF belt holder. But all I'm saying is this: the fight that should be taking place November 6th is David versus Canelo, not Canelo versus Caleb. And I feel like Fox probably wouldn't have pulled out of the situation, and they would have been more than willing to be on board to shoulder the load financially when it came to that fight, instead of shoving it off to the Showtime. Because I told you guys, it was going to come to a time where the PBC was going to crash and burn. And we are at that time where, contractually speaking, Fox doesn't want to pick it up. Their promotional contract ends, I believe, at the end of this year. There is no more PBC in Fox. PBC has to go back to Showtime, and hopefully they can find another legion of investors, because I do believe that they grabbed the first batch of elite of money for Premier Boxing Champions in Fox through a bunch of investors out of Kentucky, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, with that being said, Showtime having to shoulder the load. So the PBC is starting to look bad for business. So now it makes you question, like, okay, now everybody doing business. Now all y'all want to do business. Now Terrence Crawford has a fight with Sean Porter. Why is that? Because them niggas don't have no money. All I'm saying is this, man. Caleb should have went in different directions. And once again, you need to show us what you can do. Not constantly tell us what you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, Andre Ward had a thing about him that, like, yo, it wasn't a lot of talking going on, but it was a whole lot of proving going on. And all I'm saying is, you need to be doing the same shit. You haven't proved shit to the boxing world. You haven't given shit to the boxing world. We don't respect you. You ain't really welcome in our house yet. You a guest here right now. You're a guest here. No disrespect to the work rate or the work you put in, but all I'm saying is this. The bar has been set high when it comes to champions, when it comes to skill set, when it comes to ability, when it comes to how you move in this sport. Even though there's a lot of fuckity fuck shit, a lot of that fuckity fuck shit goes on your corner of the world. So at the end of the day, if you want to get down to where you get respect by the real boxing fans of the world, by the real dudes that really talk this shit, that don't waver and things of that nature, you're going to have to show up. Yeah, man, I think David, look, it ain't no secret. It ain't no secret David been asking for that fight. It ain't no secret David wanted that fight. And believe it or not, I ain't one of these people that, like, sugarcoat things. I find, like I said, I find it very funny that, you don't put in the same effort for David Benavidez that you put in for Oscar Valdez or you put for Canelo Alvarez. Because Canelo, if they would have acted within the same way that they acted for Oscar Valdez or Canelo or Sergio Martinez or, like Alejandro Jimenez and so many other individuals we can go down the list for. I don't need to stop there, fight fans. I can keep going. I'm saying you could have did that for David Benavidez, but let's be honest here. Who is more of a threat here? David to Canelo's career or Caleb? Like, I'm not going to sit up here and act like, I don't respect Canelo's talent. I don't respect him as a fighter, but I do. But I do realize that Canelo has been maneuvering around, I feel as though, some of the top opposition in boxing that have certain types of skill sets that present certain levels of, because here's the thing. When you're the cash cow, it is in everybody who does business with you to make you look a certain way, or to make sure that they don't fuck up the bag. That's why, when Canelo has certain scorecards, they stretch the way they do, even if it's debatable. So, they're not going to fuck up and fumble the bag. So if it comes down to it, yeah, I honestly believe that David Benavidez has a very strong chance of stopping Canelo. The only one that could probably stop him at 168. But does he beat him? I don't know that. But I definitely feel as though he packs that certain thing that would present hella problems for that dude. Taller, stronger, maybe stronger. Well, yeah, he probably is definitely stronger. Taller, stronger, doesn't mind being hit, doesn't waver from action, always front foot dominant. My thing is, can you get David Benavidez on the back foot and not get him off his relentless offensive attack? Because the thing about David is, David isn't going to stop coming. And for whatever people say he is, they call him the fat kid or whatever, the dude's got a high motor, an extremely high motor. And he operates very proficiently and with murderous intentions when he throws his punches. So I would like to see, because this is the thing, right? I've always wanted to crown Canelo based off a skill set. And I wanted to always, I like to see a lot of fighters the way other people like to see them. But I don't like to be disingenuous with my call. So all I'm saying is, I always needed to see Canelo fight one or two people that would solidify him with me to where I can put him up there amongst other fighters that I highly respect. Because, okay, let's look at it like this. If you look at Anthony Joshua and the people that are in Anthony Joshua's division, has Anthony Joshua curved anybody in the heavyweight division? If there was an opponent out there and they were supposed to be whatever they were, or even if opposition switched on the 11th hour, did Anthony Joshua go out there and fight him? He did. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is, if you're as good as you say you are, the good guys in your division, or the guys that are supposed to be at the top of your division that everybody want to see you clash with, you should be clashing with them. I feel like you should have fought, because he made a statement and said that Demetrius Andre was a horrible fighter. And okay, you want to say that Demetrius Andre is a horrible fighter, but you fought Chunky Smith, you fought Rocky Fielding. Who is Rocky Fielding? So I'm saying, in the time that he's doing these things, why couldn't you fight Demetrius? You went up to 168. I'm saying, or you know that there's nobody at 168 that really presents you a challenge besides David. But you go on the undisputed run at 168. You wanted to go on the undisputed run at 160, even though Golden Boy kind of didn't put in the exemption in enough time, so the IBF belt didn't get lifted. You still could have been continuing with the program, and your Canelo Alvarez, you still could have got the fight. So all I'm saying is, I need to see Canelo fight a David Benavidez. I need to see Canelo fight a Dimitri Bivol. I need to see Canelo fight Demetrius Andre, something of that nature. Because one thing that I've seen in Canelo the entirety of his career that I'm sure nobody can really dispute, he had trouble with Austin Trout. He had trouble with for me, he lost against Eris Landry Lara. And honestly, if you go watch the fight with the sound off and truly judge the fight against Austin Trout, I feel like he lost that fight as well. So all I'm saying is, there are questions that there are boxes that still need to be checked for me. So I need to see the kid do those things. And then I can close the chapter. But one thing I can say about Canelo is this. Eddie Hearn was saying, if this fight with Caleb Plant didn't get made, that Arthur Betterbeed or Dimitri Bivol was going to be his moves. So if that is the case, I don't have no gripes about it. But all I'm saying is, after Canelo beats 100, after Canelo beats up 168 pounds, he wins the undisputed titles. How do you really feel about it? How would you measure up that 168 title run in the 4-belt era? Other than, okay, for me, respectfully so, you beat the champions that were there. But come on, man. Callum Smith, 5 weeks notice, if that. Vonnie Yildirim, Who else? Billy Joe Saunders. He was more credible than those two. Okay, Billy Joe Saunders has fought some real talent, good fighter, give you that. But always felt like you would stop him in 5 or 6 rounds. I've said that to you guys time and time again. It's logged. And now, Caleb Plant. So when I look at these individuals and I look at that run, all I'm saying is, as a fight fan, as a person who's being real with y'all, is how are you really gonna look at that run? How are you the best fighter in the world, the fighter that nobody can beat, you know, the marquee pound for pound fighter, if these are the individuals? Those aren't the people, you know, we want to see. Those aren't the I need to see them tested. And the first time you got in the few times that you were tested, they gave you astronomically fabricated cards. So for me, that's where I'm just like, yo, I just want to see the boy go through some type of fire because Triple G took it to him. Okay, y'all came back for the second fight. There was no immediate third fight. So that shit is like, that's null and void. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just not one particular moment in Canelo's career where I can just sit up here and say, well, it's like, all right, well, we know what this was, or excuse me. Or we can say, well, that was that's the night that he really automatically gets his stripes, no debate for me. I'm just saying Canelo just has a few things that I need to see him do so I could give him all of the undisputed credit in the world. But winning the full belt era with the fighters that were in front of you, I'll give you respect for that. I'm just saying all of those fighters are trash to me. That's all I'm saying. Those aren't good fighters. Rocky Fielding is not a good fighter. Liam Smith is not a good fighter. And this isn't a bashing contest. I'm just letting people know why I identify with Canelo the way I identify with him. So just a couple of things. Just want to see him do a couple of things. And sometimes as a fighter, you have to step outside of your comfort zone stylistically, you know, and go through those things and get a victory. So, you know, people can really say that, hey, all styles, all types of opponents, no matter who they were, all comers, you smoked them. Or even if you didn't smoke them, if there was a debatable, you went back and you got it back. That's it. That's it. Canelo just needs to fight. I just need to see a Bivol fight for real. I want to see him fight Bivol. I need to see him fight a guy like Bivol, or, you know, better Beav, okay. You know what I'm saying? But much preferably Bivol. Or, you know, just get in there with somebody who I'm just like, yo, this nigga's not gonna die on the other side of the ring. And then I just be the happiest dude in the world. Because I just feel like these dudes, he just flattens these dudes, man. And I mean, they are who they are. They are who they are. Said horrible fighter, but nobody wants to fight him. From the Charlo sisters, Jacobs, Nello. He's been calling out every name out there and has a strap at 160. Absolutely, you know, and it was there and it was available for him. And Canelo, Golden Boy in the zone, and Demetrius was the zone, you know. But Demetrius Andre, if there was, and I don't think it was a realistic opportunity, but during the first year of, you know, this pandemic. Canelo was looking for an opponent due to the fact that I believe that was the time when I think the IBF got lifted due to Oscar De La Hoya's incompetence. He was looking for an opponent, and a few of the other guys, Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, none of them wanted to fight him. You know, so it was just trickling down the line. And then when it was asked of Demetrius Andrade in the interview if he fought him, he said he didn't want to fight him in a closet. He said he didn't want to fight him with no fans there. Said he wanted fans there so they could see him beat his ass in front of the entirety of the world. Okay, I get it, but here's the thing, Demetrius. You don't have the type of record and you don't have the type of luxury when you can turn down life-altering opportunities. Like, if you have the opportunity to fight Canelo, I'm not just saying you take it on any circumstances to where you're not in shape, you don't have the right time to train or anything of that nature. All I'm saying is you should entertain that fight or be ready for that call at all times. Considering if you just look at the record that Demetrius Andrade has with the level of opposition, if you can go from that level of opposition to the the most marketable fighter in the world outside of Anthony Joshua, it's something that you should definitely be prepared for. It's something that you should definitely jump on. Well, regardless of whatever your reasons is, I'm just saying, in the media, if they're giving you that opportunity or it's asked of you to have that opportunity, always feel like you should jump on it. I don't feel like fighters who don't necessarily have a certain marquee value should necessarily speak like they're marquee or they're above and beyond taking fights that might not necessarily be in the atmosphere that they've grown accustomed to. And I would just have to say that Demetrius Andre, you're not a major ticket seller. I think that you could be. I think that people belittle the excitement that you bring to the ring. I think people belittle your skill sets and all of those things. But the only thing for me that people could truly question when it comes to Andre is the fact that Andre hasn't had the defining opponent. In the same way I feel as though Canelo hasn't had that defining opponent, I feel like Andre hasn't had that defining opponent. But the thing about Demetrius Andre is, if he was ever asked to fight anyone, he wanted to fight him. And I can't deny the fact that Demetrius Andre has ran down every opponent in his division and some out of it. Even Billy Joe Saunders cheated and found a way up out of it. So Demetrius Andre, I truly believe, would have gave Billy Joe his first L before Canelo had got to him. So at the end of the day, and they were supposed to make that fight, and Matchroom DAZN was supposed to make that fight. What happened to him? Why did it fall through? Why didn't Billy Joe and Andre fight? So it's just like every time Demetrius has an opportunity, it seems like it's taken right from him. Whether it's, the powers that be or whether it's situations that are completely out of his control. I just feel like this dude has bad luck in the boxing world. And that's just due to the fact that when you're that good, you have that type of bad luck. I'm just saying. There are certain guys who are good and they're celebrated, whether it's their look, whether it's who's behind them and the type of the market and money that they put behind these fighters. But the age of boxing has changed to where major marketing for whatever's considered prospect fighters, blue chip fighters, or fighters that are on their way up, making their bones through, fighting opposition, going from 6 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds, whatever the case may be. They're not putting the type of marketing campaigns behind these individuals anymore because the money isn't coming back. The gates aren't as good. Well, I would say gates are generally normally good, but all I'm saying is the pay-per-view model is dying and people aren't as interested into boxers as they used to be due to the fact that boxing has been very stagnant for such a period of time. And I feel like, there's a reintroduction for casual fans for a level of understanding on who these boxers are now. And, you just suffer from the fact that you don't get the marketing. But with that being said, you have a free level to market yourself through social media and all of those things. So that's why I feel as though it should behoove you to do so. That's the fight that needs to take place, honestly, because I feel like if Demetrius Andre and Jamal Charlo fight at 160 pounds, then there's no debate. Okay, Andre has that opposition under his belt. If he dismantles and think about the clashing of the styles too. That would be an amazing fight. It truly would. Jamal brings a lot of things that could present problems to Andre. And Andre ultimately has the one thing that Charlo can't deal with. The ability to move in and out, fight you on angles, the ability, fight front foot, back foot, the ability to be inside, outside. Charlo can't do all of that. And he has deceptive power. But one thing we know Charlo does well is Charlo fights on the inside. Charlo can make adjustments. Charlo can strike you with quick twitch from long range. And he has very deceptive speed. So my thing is, but I've watched Charlo struggle in wars with individuals that he shouldn't struggle with. So that's why I'd be like, for me, great stylistic fight, easy night for Demetrius Andre, for sure. What baby belt is Tank chasing this week? I have no idea, man. For real, Tank, man, look, Tank is Tank, man. At the end of the day, Tank is one of these individuals I can't take serious, just like JoJo Diaz. Like JoJo Diaz, this motherfucker has the nerve to go on Twitter and say, "Why do I have to call you out, Haney? Shouldn't you be calling me out?" I'm like, bro, you the mandatory. It's my motherfucking belt. When does the champ? That's what I'm saying. Boxing is weird as shit. Why do challengers call out champions, Slim? When do they do that? I mean, when do champions call out challengers? I thought if you were hungry and you wanted to be great, you call out the champion. So that just lets me know JoJo Diaz don't want to fight, and everybody around Devin Haney don't want to fight him. So the things that I say when it comes to Devin Haney, regardless of whatever you've seen or whatever you haven't seen against certain level opposition, we've seen what he did to Linares. These are the reasons why they don't want to fight this dude. He don't have to have all of the power in the world. He's gonna box your motherfucking head off. That's it. And nobody in his division other than Lomachenko can box like that. I mean, there's a couple guys that can box, but he got superior boxing. And them dudes don't want no parts of it. It is what it is. But I've always been questioning this fight with Caleb and Canelo. And I think that shit might have been I think that shit might have helped sell the fight now, because it's on every major headline in boxing. So I truly think that them boys might have moved the needle, might have brought more eyes to the fight, and the fight might sell. Because if it's based off of Caleb Plant, who the fuck is he? Nobody besides Premier Boxing Champions fans know who that guy is, and Premier Boxing Champions fans don't spend no money on no fights. 5-stick game. For sure. So, I guess that about wraps it up for me, guys. I appreciate all of you showing up at the middle of the night. You know, damn near 15 to 20 of y'all stayed around for the entire after 2 o'clock listening to me talk this shit. And I appreciate all of you, man. You know what I'm saying? This channel is nothing without you guys and your unwavering support. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. Once we hit, 5,000 subs, that's when we're going to do, our fan appreciation, our first, celebration for the channel. So, guys, I can't say this enough. I appreciate everything you guys do. I appreciate, you guys' viewership. I appreciate, the fact that you guys come and talk boxing with me. And we're going to continue to do this. And we're going to continue to, bring, the truth to the world. Fuck it. When are you going live with Nuke again? He just tweeted me. He just hit me in my DMs on September 11th, checking with me, trying to see when I wanted to do the next eviction notice. So very, very soon, sooner than later, because as of right now, my job has been so busy that I haven't been able to focus the time on Reaper Gang Radio that I wanted to. But so that's why I've only been doing lives lately. But moving into the first week of November, Reaper Gang Radio goes back full swing with the full edits, the lives, collaborations, and me and Nuke will be back with the eviction notice. It should be, we might even be able to get one in next week, depending on what his schedule looks like. But the eviction notice hasn't gone nowhere. And I know there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about that y'all want to hear us absolutely go ape shit on. So more than happy with giving y'all all of that shit. So I hope everybody has a wonderful night. I hope all of your families are well. I hope all of you guys are well. I wish nothing but health and wealth to all of you and all of your families. As we always say at the end of this shit, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. Canelo is about to go on a tear on November 6th and just tear the lips right off of this nigga's face. Hey, man, it's the beautiful thing about boxing. You talk shit, but you got to back it up as well. And we get to witness it all. So once again, respect everyone. Have a blessed night. And till next time, Reaper Gang shit. Respect.